folklore, right?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of the Disney perceptions of creatures, magical creatures like mermaids or whatnot, is still kind of in the human psyche from previous like books or whatnot, but having them up on the big screen and very accessible and moldable for children's minds, yeah, like I think that there has been a huge impact when it comes to um, I think mermaids is the first one that comes to mind because I think before um, Ariel came out, mermaids were kind of not. I don't know. Were they sexy beforehand?
Well, I
Were
mean,
they seen?
like if we think yes, we'll say yes, but I
Yeah,
don't like mermaids were a sailor's myth, you know, like be
yeah,
careful about getting stir crazy or cabin fever because, you know, the mermaids will lure you in. But I mean, the mermaids back in like the age of exploration. I mean, for
mhm,
crying out loud, Christopher Columbus and all of his idiocy thought manatees were mermaids.
yeah, yeah.
You know, that's what he thought mermaids were manatees.
Mhm,
Um, but like even with all of that, like our earliest literature about sea monsters of that ilk were
mhm,
sirens. But
mhm.
sirens weren't necessarily fish creatures, they were bird creatures.
Yeah. So, okay, wow, that's crazy to me. So, I always kind of mixed up sirens and harpies back in, like, when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger.
Yeah.
What is the difference? Like, I
If
feel
we're
like
talking about
siren
like antiquity, difference
yeah,
between harpies and sirens.
because
Um,
don't they do the same thing?
ooh, okay, so sirens were the body of a flying beast
Mhm,
with tits out and the face of a woman. Like
mhm,
basically like up was woman. And
mhm.
they lured particularly, this is important, sailors into the water so they could feast. They were still seabirds, okay?
Okay, okay.
Harpies were an amalgamation of great bird beasts um,
Mhm,
uh, with teats, we'll say that. Maybe
mhm,
not the visage of a woman, but their
mhm.
voice, instead of luring sailors off a boat into water, hypnotized men so that they could feed their young.
Oh, interesting. So similar, but not the
Similar,
same.
but not the same. Harpies usually were land based, sirens
Mhm.
were water based. I mean, they still
Okay,
roosted like in cliffs and stuff like that. And I
right.
mean, if I am wrong about this, please tell us in the comments. But that is as far as my, I'm not a folklorist.
Yeah.
I am at best a college dropout historian. um, uh, but that is my understanding. Harpies were land, sirens were sea. Sirens sang, harpies
Mhm.
just spoke and hypnotized.
Okay,
Like they
okay.
they just lured you, compelled you, whereas is sirens
Sirens have a song.
entranced you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, uh either way, it's not a great end.
Mhm.
Like
Nope,
your
very
your ass is
similar
gonna get
end.
eaten and not in a good way.
Yes.
Um, but that does like, I think that's terrifying. Like
Mhm,
if you think about it, that is absolutely terrifying. So our sirens of antiquity, and that for those who don't know, antiquity is anything in like the, we're talking about ancient era, okay?
mhm.
Antiquity of Greece in particular, because we're talking about the Iliad and the Odyssey, is when the sirens really come up. Is not the Iliad so much, but the Odyssey. Odysseus's trek back home. Um, Sirens, he had never seen a siren, never heard its song, but he wanted to, so he coaxed his crew into stuffing their ears with wax and wool or cotton, so that, and tying himself to the mast of his ship because he wanted to experience them but not die from it. um and I don't remember if the whole crew actually did as he asked, because
Hmm.
throughout the whole of the Odyssey, people are just dying from the crew. Like when he gets home, he's got maybe himself left, and he had a crew of like a couple hundred, you know. So,
Of course.
yeah. So that's one of the. I think that's one of our first written accounts of sirens in myth.
Hmm.
Was the Odyssey, but I'm not sure. I have to look into it. I didn't. Sorry. But it goes from this bird, a gorgeous bird creature, to this fish creature, this gorgeous fish creature. They still keep the song usually. In a
Hmm.
lot of mermaid tales, they lure the sailors in by the song. They're either on the rocks singing to the sailors as they're passing by, or they're in the water coaxing the sailors to jump overboard. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know where it transitioned from, what era it transitioned from bird creature to fish creature, to be perfectly honest.
Probably a bunch of different mistranslations. I don't
Maybe,
know.
maybe.
Just
I mean,
word of mouth and like the
sailors were,
telephone game.
it's quite possible. Sailors still to this day are a superstitious bunch. Not that I'm not that a lot of people aren't. I sure as hell am, which is crazy because I own a black cat and he likes to get between my legs quite often, and
What do
make
you
me
mean
fall
they're
over
good
him.
luck?
I think they're good luck. That I've never
I
had a
think they're good
black
luck.
cat cross my path that not something good happened. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, uh, but in particular, sailors are very, very superstitious. Um, which is why I think I like was really enthralled by the idea of this story when I chose it.
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
those who are just getting here on the uptake, we are talking about Whispers of the Deep. Let me see if I can find it because my hard copy has not come in yet.
Oh,
Whispers of the
really?
Deep. Yeah, it was pre-order, so I don't know why it was
Okay.
pre-order, but it's Whispers of the Deep. It's there you go. That's actually a
Yep.
very lovely cover. Like I
It is.
love
It's
that.
gorgeous.
It's wonderful. Whispers of the
Mhm.
Deep. It's Deep Waters Book 1. We only read the first one.
Mhm.
It is available on KU if you have KU. I purchased the hard copy. It's a special edition, so as soon as it comes in, I'll show you. It's
Mhm.
by Emma Ham, and I really enjoyed this one actually.
I did too.
It
I
was
gave it a three and a
different.
half. Yeah, it was different. It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. It took me a while to get into it, but as soon as things started going, I was very happy with it.
Yeah, it was a little slow in the beginning. I say the
Mhm.
first half. Um, let's see. Yeah, I keep forgetting that we can do spoilers on this because we're just reviewing it. Um,
Yes.
so they they being the two main characters, one is human. Is It's actually very awesome to see that she is not the mermaid in this
Yes.
story. He is. But
Mhm.
if for those who have read the Kraken series, I mean, I guess this is old hat. It kind of is along the same storylines. I don't know if you've read the Kraken series.
Mm-mm, I have
Um,
not.
they are individual standalone stories that kind of stack up and tell a whole thing. I've gotten like three books into the six. I think there's six. There might be nine. Um, but there's an underwater civilization, and it's because the above ground is toxic. I think the humans live underwater
I
because
think it was a war happened and they ended up destroying the land above.
right,
So
the
they
atmosphere
created.
and and it's just not hospitable to live above the waves. Um,
Yep.
and there's like creatures and I don't think it's Earth. Like I get
It's probably some fantasy planet,
yeah.
probably,
Um,
but they didn't explicitly say it was Earth.
right.
Nowhere is it mentioned, but it definitely has the same gravitational rules and
Right.
uh, rules within, um, like the ocean. Like
Right.
you get pulled by currents, you will drown. You'll have pressure that affects you
Right.
uh, if you get too deep.
It's a little
So
sci-fi fantasy.
yeah, it is, and it's cute. It's a concise little 381 page book, and I enjoyed myself. So yeah, basic synopsis is that there's the main character, the female main character, and I feel really bad, but I did forget her name. I do know the male main character's name.
He must have
That
made
is
an impression.
yeah, Argus is his name. Argus. At least that's how I pronounced it. It's Arges. Um, and
Mira. Her name is Mira.
Mir. Oh, there we go. I should have known because it's like the ocean.
Yes. In fact, I think he
Um,
says that in their language it means ocean.
mhm.
So she is of a technologically advanced society, but the society has torched their habitable land, so they've moved underwater, and they've been there for quite a long time. And
Yes.
there is a warring, um, they're not. I think they're native there. They're not like they were not engineered or something like that, right? They
They're
weren't.
definitely native. They're
Yeah,
definitely people that were
there
born and
before.
yes. And I'm sure before the humans moved into the sea, they had a peaceful existence with each other. Or maybe they didn't know about each other at all.
Right.
But now that the humans have encroached on their territory, the Mer people, which I'm blanking on what they call each other, but they have been causing havoc, busting their pipes, trying to take down their water vessels and do as much chaos as possible because they hate each other. They hate each other.
And we never quite figure out we know why their people dislike the humans, but we don't know why the humans dislike them, because it does feel like
Probably
it's
because
like
they never wanted to. I bet you, based off of what you get in context clues with uh, the Mira and how she interacts with the humans and how the humans don't really give a crap about her when
there
she
is a caste.
disappears.
It is a caste society.
Yeah. I think they probably went into the ocean, did not try to make any kind of peace between them and the people, and encroached on their territory, did not care,
Yeah,
and um, were very like, oh, we live here now, and you're going to do, you know, you're
just
going to
deal
leave
with
us alone
it.
and deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which, of
he.
course, is not okay.
Yeah, I mean, Argus does make the argument once they can finally speak with each other.
Mhm,
Argument that the humans all they have done is pollute the ocean.
mhm,
And there are scenes where like he's up at the biodomes, I guess we will call them, the underwater
mhm,
habitats where it's just spewing sewage and
mhm.
gases into the water. Um, and I can't even remember like some of the things that they're talking about, you know, because it was quite a while that I read this.
It's a little couple. Yeah, you read it a lot faster than I did. It's a little fresh in my mind. So I got very, in my mind, I was picturing very steampunky vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how in the Disney movie Atlantis, where they have those like iron ships, like
Yeah.
underwater ships. That's what I was picturing with these like vessels and stuff. and especially because there's like a robot that comes in later
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's very cute. So she is a welder
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah, she's a welder.
Um,
I was very happy
and
about that. I was like, "Yes,
yeah,
my
yeah, she's
people."
really cool. I mean, she doesn't have a family. She keeps to herself. It looks like she's on the not bottom rung, but pretty low on their caste system.
Yeah.
They don't care about her too much. She keeps seeing this one um, mer person out in the water by the window that she works on.
Mhm.
She sees him a couple different times. Can we pause? I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
think someone is calling me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Maybe we should make a sign for your door too. So yeah, she's
I was
repairing like a habitable dome because there's like a party or something, and he's like out there taunting her.
mhm.
And then like she's repairing the glass or something like that,
Yeah,
and he
it starts with a scene with her repairing the glass, and
starts
he
banging on
goes
it.
off.
Yeah.
No, I think they kind of see each other. Maybe he does bang on it and like kind of gets aggressive with her. Um, there is a scene where, and I couldn't, I don't if it's before he swims off and gets his brother involved, and they destroy a different part um of the underground or underwater I don't know, fortress,
Yeah.
human
Facility,
fortress
city.
facility, the city. They call it the city, I think.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like city beta, I think.
yeah,
There's like four of
I think
them.
you're right. I think you're right. So she lives in this under water fortress named Beta, and so the Argus swims off to get his brother. They effectively destroy a different part, pretty close to where she's at, but it causes a lot of damage. She almost drowns, I think,
Yeah.
and
He's
uh,
suffocating because he's inside in the
yeah,
air. She saves him. She
hmm
starts drowning. He
yeah,
saves her.
exactly.
But like he is not happy that he did it.
No, no. So he comes back,
It's not
I think.
insta love, that's for sure. It's not
It
insta love.
oh, this is definitely an enemies to lovers, but like a real one because they
Yeah.
absolutely have no connection or interest in each other
She
at
thinks he's
all in the
hot.
beginning.
Like not hot. I'm sorry.
I
She
think
thinks
she
he's like
thinks
beautiful because of the
objectively beautiful
like he
because
the
of the scales.
right and the colors
Yeah,
because he does have the bioluminescence.
yeah,
Yeah, but like it's not
yes.
an insta love thing, which I did enjoy. I love
Me
a
too.
non insta love. Uh,
Yes,
yeah,
me too. Uh,
so good. It was so good.
so
I might have to reread this again now.
no, it's really cute. So, he comes by and there's another attack, right? Or something happens, or maybe I forget the instance where he takes her.
Ah, so she she tried to be sneaky to get him free. Like she did not
Okay.
want him to die to
Oh, that's right.
suffocate. So she is after she is rescued because he did put her in some kind of conveyance that had air. Um, she's brought back to like a security room or something like that, and
Mhm.
he sees her again, and she's like, "No, you got to get away." Whatever. They can't understand each other.
No,
But then she starts figuring out a way to go and repair what they had damaged. Um,
that's right. She makes a mech suit, an
no, no, no,
underwater
no, no.
mech
That's the
suit.
drone. That's a drone that just like carries the stuff. But she has a
Oh.
experimental
Oh,
rebreather.
that's right. That's right.
There's only the one of its
So
kind.
she's trying this rebreather on,
Yeah.
and assisting the drone
Yes, to
to guide it
repair,
too.
because she
That's
needs to
right.
repair it because her her domicile was in that section, and if anybody figures out that she's the one that actually like really damaged it, because it was watertight.
Hmm.
It was watertight. It wasn't flooded yet. Um, the bulkheads had come down and saved this area. And she flooded it to save him. So
Yeah.
it's not like it was pulled apart. It's not like it was clawed apart. No, it was like metal had been melted, and
Hmm.
they know that these people do not have that kind of technology. So it's like, okay,
Oh,
well,
who did this?
we know
Yeah.
you were the last
Only
one
could be.
there. It
Hmm.
could have only been a human. So she is trying to repair it to cover her own ass, and he snatches her.
That's right.
And then he doesn't know what to do with her.
Yep.
They're
And he it's his point of view at that point.
mhm.
He is dragging her along, and he is like, "Well, I can't get too deep. I can't bring her home because they're gonna kill her, and I can't bring her too deep because she's gonna pop like a balloon.
Yeah.
So where do I go?" He goes to this like coral reef thing,
Yeah. It's
like
like
this big
a cave kind of thing.
like underwater cave system,
Yeah.
and she kind of sits there for or hides in there, and obviously they can't understand each other.
He's trying to
Um,
feed her. Um, she's trying to
they
talk to him.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually he brings her to this I think it's man-made, or was it the cave first and then
It
they
was a cave
relocated?
that had, so the first one was just a cave that happened to have
Yeah.
some old tech from when they first started colonizing this ocean floor. And
Mhm.
while he's left her there, she's like looking through all of this old stuff. And she thinks she can get some of it to work, but also like she's worried about the
Needs
fact
it.
that there's no food.
Yeah.
Um, there is breathable air, but there's no real drinking water, and
Mhm.
she's frozen, like she's cold. And
Mhm.
everything here is hundreds of years old at this point. Like there's no real usable cloth.
Mhm.
And he is just menacing. So he goes back to his people, and he tells them like, "Look, I stole her." They're
Mhm.
like, "You should befriend her, and we'll use her information against her people." And he's like,
Yep.
"Bet," because he's like the head hunter. Like that's his
Mhm.
job, is to protect these people. Um, but his brothers are also like trying to become the head honcho too, I think.
Yeah. One more than the other, but
So
yeah.
they follow him back, and that's when he starts moving them,
Yep.
because he's being tailed, and one of those brothers really wants to like, does not want
Mhm.
her around because they took his arm.
Yeah.
He
They
lost his
did.
arm.
Humans took his
They
arm.
burned his arm off.
Yep.
Um,
During that fight,
yes.
the first fight. So, in that it has to is to mention in that cave, she did find this remnant, like, as little robot
No, no, he brings
where
that to her. He brings that to her
oh,
after he
it's on the
brings.
ground, right?
So
Or on
he
the
has.
seafloor.
She starts tinkering with stuff, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, well, how do I befriend, you know, something? Well, if it were my people, we'd be giving each other gifts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'll just bring her junk, the human junk that I
Human
find."
junk,
So he brings her
which is
like,
kind of cute. It's really cute.
it's really cute. So he brings her first like an old weld gun. Um, and then he brings her this old drone,
Mhm.
but it's not a drone. It's a it used to canvas the seafloor for mapping purposes, and it has a personality because it's just been running for like 250 years. So it's snarky
Mhm.
as fuck, but
I love it.
I
I
do
love this
too.
little robot.
That little robot is probably my favorite character.
Yes, same.
Um, these robots have, because they have a basic programming, aside from their specialty programming. Um, it has the ability to create implants for languages if it has
Mhm,
learned the language. So she has to get Argus to start talking so that the the droid can actually learn the language in context.
mhm,
Um, which he does enough to like converse with it with Argus.
mhm.
But she basically uh, takes the chip that he is able to make of English and implant it in Argus. That
Yes,
that
which
makes
is very smart, but
yes.
also causes a little rift because the implantation process is very painful.
Hmm.
It's just a little chip behind the ear, and she had to cozy up to him and kinda seduce him a little bit in order to get close enough,
Which he
and
was
she
not.
snaps it in.
He did not have a problem with that because he is conflicted about his feelings, like all good
Definitely.
mermen should be.
Mhm, right? So he does get snuggled up next to her, and then she betrays him by implanting the chip, and he's unhappy about that, but then eventually comes back, and is able to, understand English. She can't understand what he says
But
still.
he now can understand her.
Exactly.
So he she, she keeps talking to him, and she's like, no, 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 you got to talk back so that the robot can understand. And
Yep.
they're just hopping from cave system to cave system. Um, and eventually he realizes that she is really sick
Mhm.
because she's been cold. She doesn't have all the nutrients that she needs to survive. They've basically just been eating raw fish, I think it was. Um, so she doesn't have like fruits and vegetables. She's not getting her dietary needs met. Um,
I think she's, like, perishing from scurvy is what it
yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
is happening.
Um, and eventually he, I think this is the time where she's like doing so poorly that he drops her back off with her people.
Yes. Eventually, it gets to that point where he's conflicted. He cares for her at this point,
Yeah,
and but realizes I can't take her anywhere else. She's just gonna it's gonna be from cave to cave. She's just gonna die.
yeah.
And I don't want her to die, even though she's this asset, um, potentially. Um, but does she have his chip at this point? I think she does.
I think so.
'Cause it got to the point where it was, the robot was able to get, like, 75%, and
Yeah,
she's like, "You know what? Good enough."
yeah,
Takes it and puts it in, and she figures it out,
yeah.
from there.
But I don't
So
know if that was before or after he takes her back because I know that they are. She's in the security room again,
mhm,
and they are like beating the crap out
torturing
of her,
they're torturing her for information.
right?
Yeah,
Because she's been with him for so long.
yeah.
And he stages a a a rescue, I guess. I don't remember now how she gets away.
So it takes weeks. She's, like,
She's there
tortured
for a long
for a
time.
long time, and you get a brief perspective from him. He's like, "I can't just go in there right now. That's what they're expecting. They're gonna have to jump on me. Like, I won't be able to just rescue her right off the bat." Plus, on the flip side, he has to worry about all his people.
Because they have now turned
So
against him.
exactly, exactly. Um, and uh, so he's doing damage control all the while feeling very guilty for not being able to rescue her right away.
Right.
Um, so eventually he gets was it his younger brother
I think it's his
involved
younger brother.
to help with that, but I think it's mostly him.
Yeah.
that goes in and gets her out of there. But uh, the main antagonist, the guy that beats her, the
Hmm.
human, um, goes off and tries to flee in a little pod,
Oh,
and
that's right. And Argus like just
Argus.
drowns him.
Yep.
It was actually
Oh
very
wait, no, this doesn't. That this happens after he gets her and brings her back.
Oh, that's right.
Brings her
That's right.
back first,
Right. They find
just
a
so
they
that.
find a little habitat, like
Mhm,
the most idyllic habitat ever. It's still underwater,
mhm.
but it's like it's got a she calls it a moon pool,
Yeah.
and because he's like I can't keep taking you to the caves. This is you dying, and this place is just it's obviously set up as a like a single person's domicile. It's not a city
Exactly.
or anything like that. It's way out away from the cities, his
Mhm,
people's and hers, and it's really close to shore.
mhm,
So much so that when they look up the through the top, you can see the stars and shit.
mhm,
And they're really excited because it's also like this garden has just been growing for years, and there's
mhm.
fruits and there's vegetables and um
It's clearly some human in the past escaped the city and lived in their domicile
yes,
way, way far away in solitude.
yes,
So it was like a perfect setup for her. He gets one of his medics from his town to come and tend to her injuries because at this point she's really, really sick and then also beat up.
yeah,
Um, and he leaves her with them, swims back out, and then takes care of business, lures him
yes,
out into the ocean, and gets into a pod, and then he basically tears him in half. Like
yeah. It
he
wasn't
murders
pretty.
him.
It was satisfying
Pretty
though.
gruesome. It is
uh
very
and
satisfying. It's
all
very
while this is
satisfying.
happening, um like his people have just like decided to turn their back on him. So he's like, no, you know what? I feel better when I'm with her, and we'll make
Mhm,
it work. And he finds the bodies
mhm,
of one of his kind wrapped around a human skeleton, not far
mhm.
from the domicile.
Yep.
And then the robot's like, oh, yeah, so through a whole bunch of exposition, um,
Yes.
you find out that the robot knows what this place is. Uh,
Mhm,
he was friends with the woman that originally lived here, who was the daughter of the scientist engineer who set up the cities
mhm.
so many years ago. And the reason that he had set up this was because she fell in love with one of the mer people,
Yep.
and that's who Argus found was her body. He guesses that um, she died of old age, and her
Mhm.
partner just
Died with her.
could not be away from her even in death, and just basically laid down and let the sea eat them.
Mhm,
Because even though the mer people can live quite a long time, like hundreds of years, um, it was evident that this was just a love of the ages kind of thing. And
mm.
Argus is like, I'm kind of feeling that way too, so I could totally
Yes.
understand it. Um,
Yeah.
and so uh, they are kind of just living, like he visits her.
Mhm.
They get cozy
Yep.
and
And
cozy.
they there is a scene and where they finally do it, and it's like obviously they have to explain everything how it
These two
happens.
physiologies work.
Yes, and they do, they make it
They
happen.
make it happen.
Um, and when they're both at the peak, she gets a little, like, nip on her, neck. She
Oh, yes, I
feels like
forgot
something
about that.
pierced her neck,
Mhm.
and she's like they're in, like, euphoria, so she doesn't really feel it,
Right.
so but she's like, "Oh, we'll address it later." But, basically, during this coupling, Argus's body pierced her with, like, a barb, one of his barbs,
I thought it was like a
and it creates
tentacle type thing. I
mm,
it's
I don't
it's
I
it's
couldn't tell
whatever.
you.
It's whatever.
It was a part of him
Yes.
that wasn't sexual in nature, pierced the neck, and created a way for her to breathe underwater without
Yes.
the use of her invention, which works, by the way.
Which did work, and the she doesn't have it anymore, I think.
It broke,
Yeah,
or
the
it
humans
stopped
took
working.
it, and we're like, we're gonna reverse engineer this, see if we can make some more. Which of
Mhm.
course makes them all very terrified because
Yeah.
it's a really simple apparatus. Like it's not big bulky suits that they had been used to. Um,
Mhm.
so she doesn't have that anymore, and now that this has happened, pardon me, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
She can now breathe without it. They can't. They
Mhm.
still can't go very deep because she doesn't have a pressurized suit like she used to.
Yeah.
But this is a way for her to be able to go with him, which is
Mhm.
very important because as they're doing the deed, she looks up
Mhm.
through the window and there's the asshole merman with one arm,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she and
The
Argus
evil brother.
decide that he and Argus get in a fight. Um, and so she and the other brother, the younger brother, have to try and save him from his injuries. The older brother is now gone and licking his wounds.
Mhm.
And so they decide that they're going to go back to the people and talk to them because she can talk to them now. Like
Yep.
a couple of other of the mer people have the implants so they can understand her.
Yes. She befriended some of them while they were taking care of her.
Right.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
so
And
she,
obviously, he was away during that time, so she wanted to, make some friends.
yeah.
So she did.
So they go back and they start talking about, okay, listen, this is not the way to take down us. Not everybody is trying to come after you. This city in particular, they're just people trying to live. And
Mhm.
that's kind of how it ends with the one armed brother going, you know what? Maybe I'll go to the other city and see if
Mhm.
I can't get some information out of the big honchos. And that's kind of how it ends. Like it's a
It's kind of it fizzles out. The ending is kind of not very
it's lackluster.
it's very lackluster. I don't even remember exactly what happens, to be honest.
Like I liked the
Um,
story, but as you guys could probably tell from our rambling for the last 40 minutes, like nothing really stuck.
yeah. Yeah. I that's why I didn't give it a whole 4 stars. I think I think their romance was very well done. The
Mhm.
characters were very well done. Um, the story was very cute. Um, uh, they're learning each other's language and interpreting each other via body language was really fun
Mhm.
too. Um, and the spicy scenes paid off,
Yeah.
so that was really really good. Um, yeah, so yeah, the so what I wrote is the ending felt a little rushed, but yeah, after the MCs finally get it on.
Yeah.
I love the robot friend.
I loved the
And it
robot friend.
oh, that's what it is. So, she basically turns against humanity after being tortured.
Right.
She's like, "I don't even have any family ties. I love this person. I love this, Undyne is what they're called. Um, and I'm going to help them war against the humans," which I kind of felt was a little, eh.
On the nose.
Yeah, I felt like, that I feel like in real life, I think there would be a lot more. internal conflict. I think she switched sides way too quickly,
Yeah.
but the fact that she was tortured for a couple weeks maybe exacerbated that, like, was like, "You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Fuck these guys." Um, and yeah, it was good.
It was
I
good.
I I I enjoyed
Um,
it. I don't think I'm gonna read any more though.
no, I don't think I'm gonna read the second one. I don't know if there's gonna be a third one. It is like I said, it is a series. Second one is available. Um,
Mhm.
I don't have it up on on my tablet here, but we do have a second
Not to
one.
mention, this book is very recently released. I didn't know when I read this,
Hmm.
but it was released January 7th of this year. So it's fairly new.
It is. It is
So
fairly new. Um,
but the second one's already out if you're interested.
Again, it's on KU. Let's
Mhm.
see. Okay, so the second one is called Songs of the Abyss. It was
Mhm.
released in May on the 15th. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me.
Bless
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Bless.
It looks like the third book, Echoes of the Tide, is book 3. And it's yeah, it looks like it's each one is a story of the brothers. So the
Yeah, I
first one
figured that would be it.
is Argus.
Mhm.
The second one is
The armless brother. Oh
yes,
yeah, because they allude to what he
Dios.
has to do, Dios.
Yeah, he needs
He
to
was
like
tasked to go and seduce the human in the city, the
mhm,
mayor's daughter or
the
something.
general's daughter.
General's daughter.
Yeah.
That's what he was tasked to do.
And he's trying to reclaim his honor basically.
Yep.
And then Echoes of the Tide are for the third brother, Macus. Macates? I don't know. M
Oh,
A K E T
McKaties
Macates,
is, I
yeah.
think, is how I pronounced it.
I can't
It's
read.
probably not how it's pronounced.
I can't read, so, but that's not out until November.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a series of not really standalones, but with different couples, that might be a good one. It is a different
Mhm.
take. It does. I know I mentioned it earlier. It is kind of reminiscent of the Kraken series, but in the
Mhm.
Kraken series, like they are the remnants of human bioengineering. This is
Okay.
not that, but
Mhm.
it does. There are a lot of similarities,
Mhm.
like they barely understand each other, that kind of thing. Well,
Got it.
no, wait,
Yeah.
no. In Kraken, they have, because they are remnants of bioengineering, they actually have access to a lab that was forgotten, so they
Mhm.
know how to speak the common tongue. I must say that because
Okay.
it might not be English. It's just the common tongue. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so it was a good read. I read a lot, so it was not particularly memorable,
Yeah.
which is sad
Yeah.
that I remembered a lot more of the Akatar
No, you.
series than I did of the story. Like,
Well, the ACOTAR series just has a lot. It's so in depth and detailed with a lot of stuff. But not that this one isn't either. It's just that it's a lot more streamlined into one direction
yeah,
instead of, branching off into 5 million different things.
yes.
So,
All right, so that
uh,
was our May read.
yes,
Trying to remember where we're at. Yes, that was our May read. Our June read is Bound.
by
Bound.
Lorelei Jane.
So if you're going to read along with us, go ahead. We are going to get back on our schedule. We should have a video for Bound up by the
Mhm,
24th.
mhm.
We have we're discussing new series to discuss now that we have finished as far as we want to Akatar. Um,
Yes.
and we are talking about some other content to come up on the channel. Um,
Mhm,
Either both of us or one of us, whichever. We're not quite sure yet what we're gonna do, but we
mhm.
do have some unboxings to come up with or to put up. I have some builds that I'm doing. If there is something that you guys want to see or have us discuss, comment, please. We want to hear from you. Um, if you have questions about anything that we've discussed today, go ahead, put that there too. One of us will respond. Um,
Hmm.
we'd be happy to have that discussion. Um, so, are you reading anything right now? I know you were talking about taking a hiatus after Whispers.
I am not. I just started Bound like today, like this morning.
Okay, I
Um,
have not
but
started it at all. I know that's really rare for me, being it's the ninth, but I have
ninth
not.
already.
I
Yeah.
know. I've had a week. Okay,
No,
it's
I
been a
took a
very
break, not after this, but I took a break after the series that we're going to talk about in July.
yes. Oh yes,
Uh,
July has already been picked. We're gonna have a
yes.
ramp up to our July pick, so we have to finish Bound so that we can get
Yes.
into talking about that series. That's our next series we're talking about because our July pick is ending that series, and then we'll start
Yep.
a new series after that.
Yes.
Well, all right. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you're gonna read after.
Yeah.
You know, I
I'll,
have
I'll I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted.
I know I have that fanfic that you
I
sent
sent you,
me. I need to get in
girl.
on that. I
It's
don't know
fun
how I'm
if
going
you
to
don't
get
take.
into that after the series though.
Um, I don't know either. I can send you. How about this? I'll send you one that is a direct um that I like. That is a direct fan fiction from the series, a television series,
Okay.
and then there you can decide if you want to do or read the one that I sent you about the video game.
Okay.
But they're two different love interests, two different people. But I, of course, I'm more in love with the character from the video game. So
Right.
I think you'll understand if you do play more, and you'll
Yes.
because you there's a whole cinematic kind of scene. But yeah, so I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm
All
excited.
right. Well, I am probably gonna ditch the book that I was telling you about earlier, by the way. Because
Already.
I'm at 46% and his just gone by like water. Like, so,
Uh-huh.
I think I'm going to. There's okay. So I know I told you about Tiffany Roberts.
Mhm.
There is
Mhm.
another author. If you like
Okay.
monsters,
I mean,
Lil
yes.
Lillian Lark, and
Okay.
I think I'm gonna start this next book. It's called